Hi, it's your boy Rugby League Roundup back here with another episode of the Beyond the Tryline podcast. Today is episode 27, and we're going to be running through the round 22 tips for the NRL season. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below of your predictions for this week. Unfortunately, my guest Con couldn't be with me on this episode today as I've been having some difficulties with the StreamYard website, so I've had to record this by myself. But if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get into the video. We kick off the round by starting at Queensland Country Bank Stadium Thursday night. Cowboys taking on the Roosters 8th vs 2nd. For me, what has potential to be the match of the round this weekend. Let's run through the team list. At fullback, Scott Drinkwater. The wingers are Braden Burns and Murray Taulagi. The centres, Zach Labour and Tom Chester. The halves are Jake Clifford and Jackson Purdue. The front row is Thomas McKaylee and Jason Taumalolo. And the hooker is Sonny Luke. The second row is Hylam Lukey and Jeremiah Nanai. And the lock is Ruben Cotter. The bench is Ethan King, John Bateman, Matthew Lodge, Cohen Hess, Sam McIntyre and Caden Lars, and the coach is Todd Payton. For the Roosters, this lineup is James Tedesco at fullback, Tommy Talau and Marky Mark on the wings, Hugo Savala and Robert Toya in the centres, Daly Cherry Evans and Sam Walker in the halves, Nafahu White and Spencer Lenu in the front row, Reece Robson the hooker, Nat Butcher and Siwa Wong are the second row pairing, and the lock forward Victor Radley. The bench is Connor Watson, Celeste Furketti, Egan Butcher, Taylor Lasalu, Cody Ramsey and Reece Foley. And then the coach for the Roosters, Trent Robinson. I'm going to start with my tip for this game, and I'm going to go with the Cowboys to win in a tight contest. I think Cowboys get the job done here at home, 26 points to 20. I think Scott Drinkwater and Mark Noah Kanita-Wase will score a try. My co-host Kynan, on the other hand, though, has picked the Roosters, and he's picked the Roosters to win quite comfortably, actually. He's gone with the Roosters to win 34 points to 16 in this game. I could see it going either way, but for me, I just think the Cowboys can get the job done at home. Let's move on to Friday 6pm where the Dragons take on the Dolphins. And let's run through the team list. The Dragons, Clint Gutherson at fullback, Setutu and Tyrell Sloan on the wings, Val Holmes and Matthew Feeney in the centres. The halves are Daniel Atkinson and Kyle Flanagan. The front row is Loko Pacifici Tonga and Toby Couchman. The hooker, Damien Cook. The back row is Dylan Egan and Hamish Stewart. And the lock forward is Ryan Couchman. The bench is Jacob Little, Luciano Leilua, Josh Kerr, Jacob Halangahu, Moses Sully and Lycan King Togia. The coach, Dean Young. For the Dolphins though, Hamaso is the fullback. The wingers are Jermaine Asako and Selwyn Cobbo. The centres are Jack Bostock and Herbie Farnworth. The halves, Cody Nikorima and Bradley Schneider. The front row is Thomas Flegler and Francis Molo, who takes on his old club, Jeremy Marshall King, the hooker, Connolly Lemuelu and Kulu Kefi Funi Fuiaki are the back row pairing, and Morgan Knowles is the lock. The bench is Kurt Donahue, Max Plath, Tom Gilbert, Felice Carfusi, Ray Stone and Jake Avarillo. I'm going to go with the Dragons in this game. I don't say that with lots of confidence. It's more me backing my team to win, like I do every week. But I'm going to go with Dragons to get the W here, 26 points to 22. I think Hamish Stewart will get a try, and so will Jermaine Asako. My co-host Kynan, on the other hand, has gone with the Dolphins to win 42 points to 24, which is a fair prediction. I can understand why he's gone with that for this week. Now, Friday 8pm, we have the Storm taking on the Bulldogs at Amy Park. Now, let's run through the team list here. There is a big out for the Storm, which is Harry Grant, but this is how the team looks for the Melbourne side. So, fullback, Sualavi Falogo. The winger is Sialagi Tuimalatu Brown and Moses Leo. The centres are Mania Wateri and Nick Meaney. The halves, Tyron Wisher and Jerome Hughes. The forward pack is front row, Stefano Utoi Kamanu and Josh King. The hooker, Trent Tolau. The back row is Cooper Clark and Oren Keeley, and the lock is Trent Loiero. The bench is Hayden Watson, Alec McDonald, Jack Hetherington, Sean Blore, Joe Chan, and Angus Hinchy, and the coach is Craig Bellamy. For the Bulldogs, Connor Tracy is the fullback, Jacob Keirays and Jethro Rinakama are the wingers, Matt Burden and Anari Tuala in the centres, the halves Stephen Crichton and Lachlan Galvin. The front row pairing is Max King and Leo Thompson, the hooker Bailey Hayward, the back row is Viliami Kickout and Jacob Preston, and the lock forward Jamin Salmon. Now, the bench is Kurt Mann, Josh Curran, Harry Hayes, AJ Jones, Jed Reardon, and Sean O'Sullivan. And the coach is Cameron Serrauto. For this game, I'm going to go with the Bulldogs to win. I think the Bulldogs get the job done 22 points to 10. Actually, no. I'm going to go Dogs to win 28 points to 16. I think that's fair. I think there'll be a little bit more points. So yeah, 28 points to 16. I'm going to go Matt Burden to score a try. And I'm going to go with Tyron Wishart to dive over for a try as well. I think those two players will score a try. My co-host, on the other hand, Kynan, has gone with the Bulldogs to win as well. 14 points to 10 in a tight battle. So yeah, we both have the same prediction for this game. Moving on to Saturday night, where the Warriors will take on the Titans at 3 p.m. Big game coming here. Titans coming off 2 wins in a row. Can they make it 3? They've had a bad season, but definitely got some promising signs with Oliver Pascoe and Jaden Campbell and Zane Harrison. We'll run in through their side now. The Titans, Keanu Kinney at fullback, Dean Eremaya and Philip Sami on the wing, Jojo Fafita and AJ Brimson line up in the centres. The halves, Jaden Campbell and Zane Harrison. The front row is Milwaukee Fodawaker and Tino Fa'asua Malawi. Oliver Pascoe's the hooker, Arama Howe and Bo Fermor are the back row pairing. And the lock forward is Chris Randall. The bench is Curtis Morin, Josh Paxton, Cleese Haas, Cooper Bai, Sam Verrills and Lockie Ilias. For the Warriors though, Chance Nickel Clockstad is the fullback, Dallin Wateni-Zelezniak and Alafiana Khan Pereira are the wing pairing. The centres, Ali Leatawa and Adam Pompey. The halves are Chanel Harris-Tavita and Tamare Martin. James Fisher-Harris and Mitch Barnett are the front row. And Wade Egan is the hooker. Kurt Capewell and Jacob Laban are the second row pairing. And the lock forward is Aaron Clark. The bench is Sam Healy, Tanastawa Smith, Dimitri Vai-Monga, Leka Halasima, Luke Metcalf and Eddie Iremaya Tawava. For this game, I'm going to go with the Warriors to win 32 points to 12. I think, as good as the Titans have been in the past 2 weeks, I just think they get lapped here by the Warriors. I think the Warriors will just be way too strong. They're very fast. Titans were very fast as well, but I just think Warriors have better execution. And I'm going to go with Dallin Wateni-Zelezniak and Alafiana Khan Pereira to get a try for this game. My co-host, Kynan, has gone with the Warriors to win 32 points to 26 in a high-scoring affair, but I'm going to go with 32 points to 12 in this game. Now, Saturday, 5:30 p.m, the Raiders are taking on the Panthers at CommBank Stadium. Now, Dylan Edwards is not back from injury, and big news coming out of the Panthers is that Blaise Talangi has been dropped to reserve grade. I mean, my thoughts on this is that, you know, he's very talented. He's got a lot of potential, but that defense is something that has been a worry. And I think that Panthers has saw that, and yeah, they just probably put him in reserve grade for a couple of weeks. Hopefully, he can get his confidence back up and his defense, because he's a mighty talented player and he's got a lot of potential. But moving into the side, Jackson Edgar at fullback, Thomas Jenkin on the wing with Brian To'o, who plays his 150th NRL game. The centres are Paul Alamotti and Casey McLean. The halves, Jack Hogger and Nathan Cleary. The front row pairing is Moses Leota and Lindsay Smith. The hooker, Freddie Lussick. The second rows are Isaiah Papali'i and Liam Martin. And the lock forward, Isaiah Yeo. The bench is Billy Scott, Scott Sorensen, Liam Henry and Billy Phillips, as well as Isaac Tungle and Jack Cole. The coach is Ivan Cleary. For the Raiders, KO Weeks is the fullback. Jed Stewart and Xavier Savage are the wingers. Simi Sasangi and Matthew Tomoko are the centers. Ethan Strange and Ethan Sanders are the halves. And Corey Horsburgh and Joseph Tarpany are the front row pairing. The hooker, Owen Paddy. The second row is Zach Hosking and Atta Mariota. And the lock forward, Morgan Smithies. The bench is Tom Starling, Matty Nicholson, Josh Papali'i, Dane Laurie, Sebastian Chris, and Joe Roddy. And the coach is Ricky Stewart. I'm going to go with the Panthers to win this one. I'm going to go Panthers to win 19 points to 18. I think this will be a close game. I think Brian To'o will score a try, and I also think Zach Hosking will score a try in this game as well. So I'm going to go 19 points to 18, Penrith to win. My co-host Kynan, on the other hand, has gone with his team, the Raiders, to win 25 points to 24. The way the Raiders have been playing, back your team 100%. So Kynan's gone Raiders 25-24, and I've gone 19 points to 18 for the Panthers. The next game, 7:35 p.m, the Knights are taking on the Brisbane Broncos. I think it is at Suncorp Stadium this game, and we'll run through the lineups here. Reece Walsh at fullback, Josiah Karapani and Grant Anderson on the wing, Katoni Staggs, Dean Mariner are the centres, the halves Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds, the front row pairing Va'ar Semu and Payne Haas, the Corey Pakes is the hooker, Xavier Willison and Jordan Ricky are the back row pairing, and the lock forward is Patrick Carrigan. The bench is Billy Walters, Ben Tolte, Jaden Hunt, Ben Hunt, Luke Gale and Hayes Perham. The coach is Michael Maguire. For Knights though, big losses, Dylan Lucas and Dylan Brown out of the side. But Kalen Ponga is back in at fullback. Dominic Young and Greg Marzio are the wingers, with Dane Gagai and Bradman Best lining up in the centres. The halves are Fletcher Sharp and Sandon Smith. The front row pairing is Cody Hopwood and Trey Mooney. The hooker is Phoenix Crossland. And the back row is Jermaine McEwen and Francis Manulelua. The lock forward is Matt Croker. And the bench is Harrison Graham, Tyson Frizzell, Thomas Carr, Brody Jones, Fletcher Hart, and Lachlan Crouch. I'm going to go... Oh, this is a tough game to pick, honestly. Very, very tough game to pick. But I think I'm going to go with the Knights to win 32 points to 24. I think it'll be very high scoring. I think Dominic Young will go over for a try. And I'm also going to go... I'm going to go Dominic Young to score. And I'm going to go with... I like Katoni Staggs to score a try on the weekend as well. So Dominic Young and Katoni Staggs to score. And Knights to win 32 points to 24. For Kynan though, my co-host, he's gone with the Knights to win 36 points to 22. So we both have a very similar tip, but yeah, I think Knights get the win here. Moving on to Saturday, moving on to Sunday Arvo, 2 p.m. The Rabbitohs are taking on the Sharks at Shark Park. We'll get into the team list here. This also has potential to be the match of the round, 4th versus 6th place on the ladder. The Sharks line up like this, with Will Kennedy at fullback, the wingers Sione Katoa and Ronaldo Mulatalo. The centres are Jesse Ramian and Kale Idor. The halves are Braden Trindle and Nicholas Hines. Adam Fanua-Blake and Thomas Hazelton are the front row. Blake Brayley is the hooker. Britton Nicola and Teague Wilson are the second rows. And Cameron McInnes the lock forward. The bench is Sifa Talakai, Billy Burns, Oregon Kafusi, Jesse Colhoun, Mawin Hiroti and Jaden Beryl. The coach is Craig Fitzgibbon. For the Rabbitohs, Matthew Duffy the fullback, Alex Johnson and Campbell Graham are on the wing. Latrell Seigewa and Jack Wyden in the centres. Cody Walker and Ashton Ward are the halves. Tavita Totola and John Riddell the front row pairing. Brandon Smith the hooker. Keon Kaloamatangi and Ewan Aiken are now the second rowers, and Lachlan Hubner is the lock forward. The bench is Jai Gray, Jamie Humphries, Liam LeBlanc, Sean Kepi, Jaden Sullivan, and Edward Cossey, and the coach is Master Coach Wayne Bennett. For this game, I'm going to go with the Sharks. I think they've been just way too good. Probably the most informed team in the competition right now, along with the Penrith Panthers and maybe the Roosters. They're just sitting outside the third place. They're tied on points with the Warriors. If they win, they could very much leap the Warriors. They probably need to win by a bit, but if Warriors do happen to lose, then they could very well be third. I'm going to go with the Sharks to win. I'm going to go Sharks to win. Sharks to win 36 points to 18. I think it'll be quite comfortable. I mean, the Sharks have been on an absolute roll. You listen to this, 48 points to 12 last week against Manly Warringah. 20 points to 18 against the Newcastle Knights. 66-0 against the Dolphins. 28-16 against the Brisbane Broncos. Then they have the bye. Then they go and win against the Dragons quite comfortably. They beat the Warriors 10 points to 8. They've been able to do it very well this season, and I'm thinking that they have a very good chance at winning the whole thing this year. It's very open in my opinion. Although Penrith are quite the favourites right now, it could really switch like that. So I'm going to go Sharks to win 36 points to 18. I'm going to go with Alex Johnson to get a try and Ronaldo Mulatalo to get a try, and I also think that Kale Ito will get a try as well. So yeah, I'm going to go Sharks 36 points to 18, and those are my try scorers. And Kynan, my co-host, has gone with the Rabbitohs to win 16 points to 12 in a very tight contest, which is a fair prediction, but for me, I'm going to lean towards the Sharks. Moving on into the last game, Tigers versus the Parramatta Eels. Very, very big contest, this one. There's been a lot of controversy, around the Tigers over previous weeks, especially with Adam Douei's situation, Jerome Luai. But here's how they line up on the weekend. Jareem Buller at fullback, Junior Tupou and Sunia Taruva on the wing. Himasi Makasini and Patrick Herbert are the centres. The halves, Jerome Luai and Adam Douei. The front row pairing, Terrell May and Fanua Pole. The hooker is Apisai Coruscant, who plays his 250th game. Congratulations. Samuela Fainu and Sione Fainu are the back row pairing, and Alex Twal is the lock forward. The bench is Heath Mason, Charlie Murray, Alex Seyfarth, Tony Suka, Tristan Hope, and Stafford Toa. The coach is Benji Marshall. For Parramatta, Isaiah Yongi at fullback, Brian Kelly and Josh Adokar on the wing. Will Penasini and Jordan Samrani are the centres. Ronald Volkman and Mitchell Moses are the halves pairings. Sam Tuavidi and Jack Williams in the front row. Talon De Silva in the hooker position. Kelma Tolangi and Kitioni Katonga, the back rowers, and Jack DeBellin the lock forward. The bench is Dylan Walker, Junior Paulo, Tinkan Brown, Harrison Edwards, Joash Papali'i, and Tony Matayele. And the coach is Jason Riles. I'm going to go with the Parramatta Eels in this one. I think they were very strong against the Panthers last week. And I'm going to go for Josh Adokar to get a try. You know, this is probably his longest drought. I think he's gone 11 games without scoring a try. I think this week he scores. And I also think that Isaiah Yongi will go over for a try as well. So, yeah, I'm going to go Eels to win. I'm going to go Eels 28 points to 12. I think that's the score for that match. My co-host Kynan, though, thinks that the Tigers will bounce back with a very convincing victory. After a lot of bad weeks, I think he's thinking that, you know, there's been a lot of distractions at the club. They just need to win, and he's picked them to win 38 points to 14. We have disagreed on that tip there. I think Eagles can get it done quite comfortably. I'm pretty convinced on that, but it really could go any way come Sunday afternoon. That's it for my tips, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This has been episode 27 of the Beyond the Tryline podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave your predictions down below in the comment section. That would be much appreciated. It's been your boy Rugby League Roundup. Take care and goodbye.